for joining us. We're coming to you live from Soroti City, and we're here for Strictly Sports. My name is Emerson, and I'm here, of course, with my colleague Pato, who I know had a very wonderful weekend after, of course, the domestic leagues reporting back after the international break. Just to say hello, I don't know, Pato, how are you, and how was your weekend?
Wow. Thank you so much, my brother Emerson. It's another big one. No, it's been a while, but people have been asking what's happening.
True.
We're here. It's a beautiful evening. In case you're wondering where we are, we're in Golden Arc, a very beautiful place with a good atmosphere.
True.
So, and I just want to say welcome everyone to another exciting moment of the sports. As we all know that, we really missed so much. We had the international games there. Now Champions League is returning. My weekend has been really good, though.
True.
It was a frustrating one. My team lost, and it's a bit challenging, but we'll bounce back.
Yes.
I just want to say welcome aboard. Stay with us, and we'll be giving you all the best that you want to know in the world of sports.
Definitely, not only the domestic leagues are back, but of course, the European football is back. Who is going to be the champion of Europe? We return back with midweek action, where we have the Champions League, and of course Tuesday, Wednesday is dedicated with the 36 teams all to play, every day having about 9 games, that is for the 2 days, and we want to dive into to give you a picture of what you should expect, and probably that is what will happen. I'm here with Pato. My name is Emerson. Let's start away on Tuesday, early kickoff. We have Barcelona taking on that side of Olympiacos. Olympiacos has not scored any goal, and they look forward to score their first goal. Though they're playing Barcelona side, I think, which is also struggling in the league. But now here is Olympiacos, a champion from Greece, facing a champion from that is Spain, and see who will be the champion of Europe. Please, can you give us a picture of what you think will come out of this game? You remember the dramatic win that Barcelona had. Actually, we had ruled out, we knew that shared the points. That was over the weekend. What do you think is coming up onto this game that will be on Tuesday at 7:45?
Well, it's going to be an early kickoff for Champions League there tomorrow, and Barcelona will be kickstarting the midweek games there after frustrating a defeat to PSG.
True.
They lost the Champions League against PSG, and it's something that Hansi Flick will be looking forward to settle down his team. Barcelona has not really been so well. They lost against Sevilla there, 4-1.
Very frustrating.
Very frustrating for them there. They came struggling against when they played over the weekend. It was a very stubborn one. Verona is a very stubborn side there, and we saw their second captain Araujo really coming up to help the team at the last minute there, where almost everyone ruled out Barcelona. Probably it was going to be a draw game there, but Barcelona managed to come out. They needed that win so much, they managed to come out of that game at 3 points. And remember, they have to tighten the belt with Real Madrid, who are not even about to lose the game. So coming into Champions League, I think Barcelona have to bounce back. Remember also, Olympiacos lost their previous game in a domestic league there, but they managed to bounce back over the weekend. They had 2 goals lead there. So coming into Champions League, remember, it's really going to be a very difficult one. Barcelona playing at home, they will need to put that energy and bounce back after that loss against PSG. So I'll be really so much optimistic that Barcelona, with the coming back of Lamine Yamal from that slight injury he had, and that really kept him away for the last 2 matches that Barcelona played. So his presence back in the Barcelona team is really going to be very, very much positive for the Barcelona team. And now Rashford is really trying to catch up the form and not driving the flank somewhere. The attacking line of Barcelona is so much energized with the likes of Rashford, even in the absence of Rafinha, but you really cannot. I know that impact of Rafinha is felt a bit, but Rashford is trying to prove a point that, I'm one of the best attackers that probably would come in and help the team. And we have seen it. He scored the only 2 goals that Barcelona beat Newcastle there. So this is going to be a very, very entertaining game. But to me, I think this is a bounce back for Barcelona. They really need to work hard and see that if they want to get themselves in the top 8, they need to win this game. And the good advantage of playing at home, I'm really seeing Barcelona coming up in this game.
Good there, of course. Barcelona is at home, so they will have the home advantage with the fans right there to make sure that they have to get the 3 points. Remember, the first 1 up to 8 and then those ones qualify automatically, and then of course we go. The next will be of course the playoffs. But of course the remaining up to 36 definitely will be out. Still from Spain, but of course the odds is to Arsenal because Atletico Madrid now host another stubborn side, that is Atletico Madrid, another team I know will have trouble make sure they pick maximum or even just 1 point, that is from London, because if you look at their last 5 visits, that is to London, they only took about 6 points, that is 2 wins, and of course the remaining 3 were draws. This time, paint for us a picture of what you think Atletico Madrid will have to, which type of hill they have to climb in order to get 1 or 3 points.
Well, to me, this one is going to be the most exciting match tomorrow, because Atletico Madrid is a team that I know plays a very, very physical game, and they don't give up the last minute. Diego Simeone is one of the hardest coaches. Remember when he came to their first game in Anfield against Liverpool, we saw how he managed. Liverpool had a 2-goal lead in first half, but they came back in second half with that electrifying energy and managed almost to frustrate Liverpool. They brought the game to 2-2. Not until Liverpool had to fight so hard to find a third goal there. So Atletico Madrid is not a team that you're going to play and you have to be relaxed, no? But looking at Arsenal, they're really on their best form this season. They have won all the 2 games, Champions League 2 games, and they have 6 points among the table leaders there in the first 8. So Arsenal will be looking forward to continue with the consistency of that Champions League run, and probably this is something that Arteta would really want to prove a point this season, and having that advantage now, leading the domestic league. They are already ahead by 3 points ahead of Man City, and I think Arteta now is getting relieved that he's no longer having too much pressure. Now the focus now comes into Champions League. Maybe the major thing that is going to really be affecting Arsenal, I saw over the weekend how there was no creativity in the midfield completely. Eze is still struggling. It's good, but I think he has not really been able to fit in the shoes of Martin Odegaard. It's one of the players who has got that individual brilliance in the game, and we saw Eze was not able to have that ability. We saw how Arsenal struggled, and they managed to only win Fulham by 1-0. But Fulham had a couple of chances, but if they had utilized their chances, probably Arsenal would have lost that game, because we saw so many chances from Jimenez, we saw so many chances from Iwobi. We saw so many chances being wasted, but Arsenal was so much clinical. Trossard managed to help them clinch the 3 points there. But now playing against a very, very stubborn side, very energetic side, very physical team.
True.
This is a team that has got players that understand Premier League. With Julian Alvarez, we have Gallagher. So it's a team that is basically coming to prove a point. I know it's going to be at Emirates, there's that advantage, but Diego Simeone is coming into this game and he wants a win. Remember, they could not get a win in the last Champions League game they played against Inter Milan. They went on a 1-1 draw there. So this time around, they know they're coming to play in Emirates, and it has been so much difficult for them. In the last Europa League game they played in Emirates, it ended up in a 1-1. Those were the days of Diego Costa, Lacazette, and though they managed to win the second leg by 1-0, still Diego Costa coming in, Griezmann now coming to help the team. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Arsenal. They don't need to come into this game with that reluctant mind, like now the team is on form and so many things are happening. Diego Simeone is coming into this game with only one mind of winning the game. And if Arsenal relaxes in this game, trust me, it will be really so much frustrating for them.
Of course, with their formation of 4-3-3, I see Eze, and then I see Rice in the middle and Zubimendi. Then, of course, their danger man Saka are coming from the right flank there to make sure they can secure maximum 3 points. But so far, so good for Arsenal, because their first 2 games they have registered 6 points, and I see them somewhere among the top 8 teams.
But I think this time around, last season what really affected Arsenal so much was the squad depth. They had a couple of injuries. They had Kai Havertz getting injured there. Gabriel Jesus was injured. They had to, they had to improvise. They had to opt in for Mikel Merino, who became a striker there. Things were not really working so much for Arsenal, where Odegaard was injured, Bukayo Saka and those are the key players that the team needed so much at that very critical moment, and they were out of the team. So the squad depth really affected Arsenal. That you really see this time around. If you look at the backline of Arsenal, even guys, a man like Pierre Incapi, this guy has not even featured. So I was seeing him today. He has returned to the training with the team. Probably he might get another chance to feature tomorrow. So Arsenal really has a very good squad. If you look at the midfield, Sumibendi, Nogard, you have Merino, you have Declan Rice, you have...
Of course, definitely we now have to cross over to another very exciting one in Germany, where we have Bayer Leverkusen. After, of course, telling Ten Hag bye-bye, they're really seeing results for the team. I don't know whether the coach was the problem or something else, but of course, they are facing a champion who is struggling, not only PSG, but look at all the other domestic leagues. Liverpool is struggling from, that is the Barclays Premier League. If you look at Italy, Napoli is also struggling, yet these are the champions, and now they are into the European football. Let's try to draw up something right here. PSG is traveling, that is to Germany, to make sure they continue the defense into the trophy and click on it probably. But are they really missing Dembele? Because we really see things are not working as the PSG we used to see last season. Maybe you pick up right from there. Leverkusen containing the champion in that is a match 3 of a Champions League.
Yeah, I think the impact of Dembele is really so much missed in PSG. The 3 games PSG has played without Dembele, see the team is really struggling. There's no motivation in the team. There's no that individual player who puts that pressure into the back line of an opponent. Who have seen that the last game they played with Strasbourg, we saw how they managed to, they had to come from behind to get that 3-3 draw with Strasbourg. So something that is really so much not moving so well with the team, with the PSG. We saw Bakola, yes, and as an individual, Doué is not fully fit, and PSG now has to opt in for second level. They brought in Mayola, really so good, but you cannot compare Mayola with Dembele. Yeah. The impact that Dembele puts in the team, the energy, the ability, the creativity that he puts in the team is something that PSG really has, and these are the kind of players that we always talk about. The impact in the team when they are not there, their absence really affects the team so much, and we can really see that happening in PSG. And now traveling to Germany, Leverkusen, from the time they sacked Ten Hag, they managed to win all their last 3 games. They've been on form. They won their last game over the weekend, 4-3. So this defines you a team that probably Ten Hag was not able to identify where the errors, and I know someone who has come in now is able to identify, he knows the players to use, he knows who to be in the pitch at what time. And now Bayer Leverkusen have reorganized themselves, that's what I should say. So PSG being the champions, and they don't have to go to Germany and slip up and say this is an underdog. No, they have been struggling. They really need to put in a lot of energy. I think Enrique needs to wake up and see the team that beat Barcelona in the Champions League game. Probably this could be another team. These young boys could come up and try to prove a point again in this Champions League against Leverkusen. But playing at home, Leverkusen is a very good side, I should say, so far, because winning the last 3 games, and that form is consistent with them right now. But of course, I would love to see PSG being the champions and defending the title and being consistent in their winning ways, though they have been really so much struggling. But I'm seeing them come back into this game really so much well.
True, of course, as we promised, we will be analyzing about 4 games in each day of match day 3 Champions League right there. And of course, we shall cross over to Manchester City, having a wonderful win over the weekend. They are traveling also to Spain to make sure they see how they can pick up the 3 points and probably continue the struggle in the Champions League. But of course, just to remind you, Buana Pato, the last time Manchester City played, that was Villarreal, was in 2011, where they washed them 3-0, and now they are already in Spain to make sure they also try to get back to their winning ways, and that is for European football. Villarreal is not really doing so bad. If you look at their game. They played another not really so nice team in the domestic league, that is Real Betis, drawing 2-2 in that game. But of course, before that, Real Madrid also watched them right to get their maximum 3 points. Now here they are on a Tuesday evening to host Manchester City with all these players, as you can see, all are up and very solid. What do you think will come up of this game right for Manchester City and Villarreal?
I think one team that people are not really seeing coming up is Manchester City. If you look at the table standing of English Premier League, you clearly see Manchester City from nowhere. I didn't really see them. I don't know which position they were before, but I was very surprised to see Man City now is in number 2 with 16 points, just 3 points behind the table leaders. This should not really surprise you. We have seen these occasions happening in English Premier League where you see Man City hides from somewhere and then from nowhere they come up and top the table and they win the league. So Manchester City is really coming back into their best form. Even in the after the departure of Kevin De Bruyne, going to Napoli, and people said probably Manchester City is now gone, and but this guy Hernandez has really come up and he has proved the point. The guy is very, very energetic, he's very creative, you know, he knows those long passes, and this is the guy who has an eye to the ball, and we have seen how he has managed to uplift the game of Haaland. We're seeing Haaland scoring almost every game. We scored 2 goals and currently the top scorer of English Premier League, and they're coming back. We saw most of the injured players who have returned. Chucky is back, Mamouzi is back. So this is a motivation that helps a team when you see one of your best players coming back from an injury. And you saw how they managed to. Everton was a very stubborn side. I know this season they're really not that in a very bad form. They've really been good, and Man City coming up with 3 points again is a very stubborn side like Everton. That defines to you a team that is coming up, a team that is getting organized, a team that is getting ready to win titles, and a team that is willing to come back to where they used to be. And remember last season it was really a very bad one for Pep Guardiola, you know, almost lost every idea he had, but I think he had to go back to the drawing board and put himself together, and we're seeing how Man City is flying this season. They have really been on a very good form. So going to Spain and Villarreal, they had a very difficult weekend there. They could not get 3 points against Real Betis, very stubborn 2-2 there. So I think Haaland will still be on that score sheet, and probably I would work with Man City and win their 3 points for Manchester City, and that really defines to you how a good team is getting back into its winning ways.
One of the superstars, of course, Rodri again picked up a hamstring injury, so dearly will be missed in this game.
Yeah, that's true, and it's one of the positive things that the motivation that Rodri had brought in the team, you know, really brought Man City together. But you know, still haven't been felt so much because I think Guardiola is trying to put the boys together. You know, Guardiola has got by the very, very organized side. The way he has put the team together this season, I think he's very ready to compete again. Unless Liverpool, even after spending that big money, but things still are not working out. So Guardiola, I think, probably have seen some of the areas that he really needed to work on, and you can see how Man City is performing. To me, I should say Man City is really doing well, and this motivation, courage, the players are really so much influenced, and that is what you need in a team.
Another champion in Germany is also struggling. That is Bayern Munich, and they're not really. You may think they are gambling or something, but of course that is expected always at the start of the season because of the changes here and there. They are hosting Club Brugge, a team from Belgium. Actually, wants to go and pick 3 points that is from Germany. I could clearly tell you it's an underdog going to see its way being welcomed. That is in Germany. Here, maybe a quick one here to my friend. Bayern a bit whatever over the weekend.
Dortmund, they had 2-1 lead. They had 2-1 lead. Harry Kane coming back in the score sheet. Actually, is one of their best players there. And then Luis Diaz, you know, from the time this guy left Liverpool and went to Bayern Munich, it feels like he has been in the league for a very long time. No, this is a guy who has gone and fit in the league and is really doing magics. Is making difficulties in the defense of an opponent. You have seen Olise playing on the right, then Luis Diaz playing on the left. You have Harry Kane there up front. These are guys who are driving the attack like nothing. And no, it's one of the things that really is helping Bayern Munich so much, and it's going to be very difficult for Club Brugge. But also Club Brugge is also not an easy side. You know, they play a very physical game. They play a very attacking minded